The Measuring Show.
Since 1970, MPB has been enriching the lives of Mississippians.
Everything we do gives us the chance to grow and learn.
With your support, we are always there whenever and wherever you need us. Together through the years, together in the future. Please consider making a donation at mpbfoundation.org. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Hey, it's me, Gus the Gopher for Atmos Energy. I dig all around the yard. Occasionally, I bump into a utility line and get a headache. But if you hit one with your shovel, backhoe, or ditch digger, you could cause a gas leak, disrupt service, or worse. So call 811 at least 3 business days before you or someone else digs in your yard to have those underground utility-owned lines marked. It's free and it's the law. You dig what I'm saying? For more on safe digging, visit atmosenergy.com/811.
Okie dokie, folks. Welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing and me and Java Chapman and our live stream producers, Sahana and Joseph. We welcome you to this program. If you're listening by radio, we welcome you. It's a call-in program, so find a phone and let's talk about what's going on in your garden. If you're anywhere near a laptop or your phone or something and want to go to see the live stream, I've got flowers. I've got my little pickup truck with the flowers going in. I've got some things to talk about and some pictures to show. You go to YouTube. And in the search box.
There you go. In the search box. Some people call it a search bar, but I like search box.
It's a box. It's a box. Anyway, type in Gestalt Gardener or, I guess,
MPB Think Radio, Mississippi Public Broadcasting. It's going to have a nice little live thing right there. And voila.
Yeah, and if you do it live, then Java, you're sort of monitoring when people write comments and stuff. But people can also any time of day, any time during the week. So if you want to go back and see some of the stuff we're about to talk about, it's just another little thing from MPB.
You know what? Some people I've actually heard people like to do. They put it on their TV Saturday morning. Oh. Not when they're gardening, but like they're cleaning up around the house, and it's on their TV, watching us, do the show.
Well, as long as you're cleaning the house or something, otherwise I would say get a life. It's Saturday morning. And speaking of Saturday morning, tomorrow morning, because today's Friday, I'm going to be at the farmers market in Columbus.
The Hitching Post.
Yep. We've been there before.
Yes, sir. We've been there.
And I've been there several times. It's supposed to, kind of good chance of rain, which means you really can't get out and garden. But I'm going to have my garden truck backed up under there with all the stuff on the back tailgate, and it's covered. So, if you got nothing to do on a Saturday morning rain, come on, bring a chair. We're going to sit down. And I'm going to be there from 8 until 10 and then, sticking around as long as people want. So it's just a chance to, Java, what I call where the wheel meets the road.
There you go.
We're cutting out the middleman, cutting out the tariffs, cutting out all that stuff.
And touching the people.
Yeah, and if you're not a joiner, you're not a garden club or a master gardener or anything like that, you just don't really like to join groups, this is the chance to come in and just get real informal. Cannot possibly be more informal unless I do it in my bathrobe.
There you go.
Which I want.
Well, I would say which we don't really recommend.
Well, that's going to be Saturday morning. Hitching Post Farmers Market, by the way, in Columbus. It's downtown. It's on the west end of downtown Columbus. Hard to forget. It's at the corner of 2nd Street and 2nd Avenue, 2 and 2. Right out. So anyway, it'll be real fun. Angela is going to be there from MPB. She got some light refreshments and some little gift bag and that kind of stuff. So look forward to seeing folks Saturday morning downtown at the Hitching Post Farmers Market on the west end of downtown Columbus. Hey, how you doing, Java?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. And you know what? I think it's the hitching lot.
Hitching lot.
There you go. I think I gave you the Hitching Post.
Well, I said Hitching
Post.
I've been saying Hitching Post. I put it on the Mississippi Facebook thing, Hitching Post. Hitching lot.
Yeah, the Hitching lot. And you can find them there on Facebook, too, the Hitching lot. Farmersmarket.com. But yeah, you're gonna be out there. We've had a great time out there, and man, I'm doing good. Felder, how are you, man?
Doing good. It's it's been a kind of crazy week. I've been doing actually gardening because it was cool.
Well, I guess it didn't rain until what? 2 days ago.
Yeah, so what I did, I went out and did some pruning. I did a little bit of weeding and a good bit of weeding because I try once in the spring, once in the fall, I like to do weeding and throw everything on my compost and got everything nice and neat. Took the leaf blower to it so that when the rain came down, it made it look sparkling. It makes it look like somebody actually lives there. And I got a tomato that's starting to ripe. I've got peppers. I know a lot of people already have this stuff. There are better gardeners out there. You know, I'm a garden expert. I'm what they call a mouth gardener, Java. I talk about it.
Well, you're also gone. I mean, you're going to be in Columbus tomorrow, so you can't just tend to the garden.
I appreciate it. Help me out there a little bit. But anyway, it's Mother's Day weekend. We've got plenty of stuff to talk about. If you want to give us a call, it is toll free 1-877-MPB ring. Java had a real interesting thing this week, and I want to be gracious about it. Uh-oh. I was invited again to be part of NPR has a thing called Highway 1. Yeah, Highway 1. No, Route 1A.
1A, yes.
1A. It's out of Washington. And every now and then have a gardening segment. I got to be on there, but they paired me up with a fella from Miami who is an orchid expert. I mean, a hardcore orchid expert, one of the world's authorities. And so you have a real specialist and a real generalist on at the same time. And these people all over the country, it's a real popular NPR program. And so every now and then, they would ask this orchid guy, he would talk about, propagating using microfilters and agar and special techniques and how to grow them in the soilless media and all like that. And then every now and then the host would say, okay, Felder, how about them flowers? They had a specialist who could really get in depth. And it was so good that every now and then they would say, Felder, what about you? You like trees?
Just to bring it down.
Yeah, well, it brought it down quite a bit. So I managed to turn it around on them a little bit because I've actually been to the Fairchild Tropical Botanic Garden where this guy works, and I knew they had Dale Chihuly glass sculptures there. So I managed to trash the program out pretty good bit.
Well, I'll make sure to put a link in the podcast description for people who want to catch that segment. 1A out of WAMU in Washington.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a lot of fun. I've got a few things to talk about. Brought some flowers to chat about and a couple of odds and ends. But we're here to talk with folks about what's going on in their gardens. So let's slide down to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and see what's going on. It doesn't have a name, but it's just got a number. So, good morning. Hello. It might not be time to push the button there.
I think it is. Hold on, let's see. But I got them squared away. You're calling from Hattiesburg. What's your name this morning?
This is William. I'm calling from Jackson, actually.
Okay.
I'm driving down to Natchez right now.
Oh, driving down. What's going on, William?
Is this Mr. Hey, I've got some Hartwell cooked pears in my backyard that used to just produce tons of pears. Probably got 6 or 7 of them. And over the past couple of years, they just hadn't produced anything. Can I graft off of those with some Hartwell cooked scions?
Yeah, and you said Hartwell Cook. You talking about you get them from a guy named Hartwell? Because I knew Hartwell Cook.
Yes, sir. Hartwell Cook actually is my grandfather.
Okay,
he always spoke really highly of you. So.
Well, I tell you, when he was in his 70s, I mean, he was out cutting cedar trees and stuff like that. He was a heck of a guy, but also one of the top backyard pear experts in the South. But to answer your question, yes, you can graft on them, but it may not be the best time of year to graft. You might be able to. Did he show you how to graft? Because he was good at it.
He did.
Okay.
I'm fixing to start trying my hand at it. So.
Yeah. Most of the time they take the graft wood in the wintertime, and then they graft in the spring when the sap dries. But I don't see why you can't take if you do that, the part you're going to graft, go ahead and strip all the leaves off of it. It'll put out new growth, but I'm afraid if you take a leafy cutting graft, it might not work. But I don't know why it wouldn't produce. I don't know that particular pear, whether it's self-pollinating or not, but, we had I was out visiting a fella out in the country yesterday at his plum orchard, and a lot of his plums that normally make didn't this year, and I'm thinking it's because it was hot and dry last summer when they were forming flower buds, and maybe that one of those sudden hard freezes might have nipped the buds a little bit.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm gonna wait till the spring and try to get me some scions and try to do that during the next spring. So okay. I appreciate it.
Oh, I want to ask this: what kind of pear is it? Because Hartwell, You know, I mean, he grew. I've been down to his place several times out wasn't it off of Kickapoo Road or something?
It's off of Clinton Tennant Road. I am living out there right now, so I'm trying to kind of get some of the place kind of cleaned up and back to where it used to be. So.
I hope you fix the floor in his kitchen.
Oh, look, the house is totally redone, so you'd be shocked if you saw it.
Well, when they ripen next year, give me a shout.
All right, thank you so much. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Java, there's a group of men, mostly men, there's some women, but it's a group called the North American Fruit Explorers. They're backyard people, hobbyists. Instead of growing roses or African violets or irises, they grow fruit plants. And the one guy will have like 20 different kinds of figs, and somebody will have a whole bunch of pomegranates that he came from Russian rootstock. And anyway, Hartwell was sort of the center of all that. He grew all these kind of home fruits. He was a real enthusiast. And he was on me all the time. Why don't you talk about these, Felder? Talk about it. I said, because you can't buy them anywhere. Well, now we've got people actually starting to produce these, finding these old apples and pears and plums and crab apples and really, really good type of fruits that do well in Mississippi. And they're starting to propagate them and make them available for sale. But anyway, Hartwell Cook was one of those guys. I had a couple of unusual experiences this past week. One is, as a matter of fact, let me see if I got my pictures here. I've got my...
Because I'm still waiting to learn about the frog belly.
Frog belly. Okay, I brought some. We'll talk about it in a second. Let me find the thing, the photos for broadcast that I've got. I have a bird nesting in my tree.
I saw that picture. Was it in your yard?
Yeah. This is picture number one. I've got this real thorny plant. It's a type of hardy. It's not an orange. It's not a lemon. It is a citrus. Got lots of real thorns. And I was trying to prune it the other day without snatching my hat off and my hair out. I looked up and there's a birdhouse with a bird nest with a mama cardinal, red bird. The females aren't red, but they're just called that. She's sitting in there. She was real. You see this picture. She's giving me the evil eye.
She's wondering why you next to her babies.
Yeah. But anyway, I thought that was real cool. I'm seeing pictures on the Mississippi Gardening Facebook of folks who have birds that are nesting in their hanging basket ferns and it's all over the place. And the reason I want to mention that because these mama birds and the daddy birds have to feed their babies all the time, and they feed them mostly caterpillars. And a lot of people don't realize that oak trees, a lot of our native trees, have got a lot of caterpillars in them. We don't see them because they're up high. But it takes, I forget how many hundreds of caterpillars to raise a single baby chick. And so if you've got a kind of garden that's got a few little caterpillars here and there, if you can leave them alone, let them eat a little bit of your plant. I don't mean let the tomato hornworm just chomp your tomato to nubs, but caterpillars are important for baby birds. And I just want to throw that out. So if if you have a perfect garden, your baby's gonna be hangry. And also, a couple of other things in my garden. I have a big container garden. I think it's picture number 2 for folks who are on the live stream. But I have a large. It's a 4-foot diameter horse watering trough. I got it I don't remember whether it's a co-op or Tractor Supply or someplace like that, but I put drainage holes around the bottom and fill it up. I didn't fill it all up with soil. I put a bunch of logs and branches and stuff like that in the bottom, but I'm growing tomatoes and peppers and different kinds of basil and oregano and thyme. I've got some English peas and a root plant. I've got rosa rooting in it, but this is a really easy way to have a nice garden without having to bend over.
Without a lot, I like to call it no muss, no fuss.
Yep, that's right. I do have a problem. One of the things in my garden, I'm trying to grow hollyhocks again. I love England. Mm-hmm. I love the flowers that grow there. I like Seattle. I like Hawaii. I like all these places I go. But every now and then I try to grow one, and there's a real popular old-fashioned plant called hollyhock. And it's just you plant it in the fall, grows over the winter, blooms in the spring. But mine has got a disease called rust. Little red spots. This is picture number 3. Rust really makes it it still blooms fine, but it's just not real pretty. And this is one of the reasons why we have a hard time growing hollyhocks here, because it's such a common disease. As a matter of fact, rust also gets on quince and apples and pears. And you can really tell it because it's got a little orange-looking thing. This photo number 4, I think.
Now, with the rust, does that have anything to do with too much water?
No, it's actually a fungus it's called cedar apple rust. Even though it gets on apples and pears and crab apples and quince and on cedar apple rust, it grows over the winter on cedar trees, and in the springtime makes a little jelly-looking mass, and spores spread from that to apples, pears, quince, crab apples, and causes spots on the leaves, and sometimes make the fruit look like they're just covered with a little rusty. It's called rust because you rub it off, it's rust color, but it's a tough one. And if you've got pears and apples that quince have got rust on it, you can spray for it. There's a fungicide that you can spray, but you got to spray before the infection happens, which means late winter, and nobody's thinking about it then. Last thing on our mind. So if you got rust on stuff, just make a note. Give us a call next February. But there's a spray for rust, and it doesn't hurt pollinators, it's not a poison or anything like that. So we do have some controls. I've got a few other things to talk about, folks. I brought 2 different kinds of lantana in, brought my little truck garden. I got this thing called frog belly we're going to talk about in a minute, but we're going to take a quick break. The lines are wide open. You want to give us a call, it's toll-free, 1-877-MPB-RING. Wide open, folks, to talk to somebody who's not a great gardener. Everything in the world goes wrong in my garden, but I learned from it, and I can tell you what I've discovered from my own garden, and I won't try to sell you anything. Again, horticulturalist Felder Rushing, Java Chapman, all the folks at MPB. We're going to take a quick break and come back right after this.
At the Mississippi Arts and Entertainment Experience in Meridian, we believe in the power of the arts, storytelling, and education, just like Mississippi Public Broadcasting. MPB connects communities across the state with quality programs that inform, inspire, and engage. Their audience is loyal and appreciative of businesses that support public broadcasting, which makes underwriting on MPB a smart investment. Join us in supporting MPB. Learn more at mpbfoundation.org.
Hello, I'm Desiree Frazier, host of the award-winning news program, Mississippi Edition. We bring you conversations about the latest news from across the Magnolia State. Whether it's politics, healthcare, or education, you'll hear in-depth discussions on issues that matter to you. So join us each weekday morning at 8:30 on MPB Think Radio, or download the podcast, listen through the app, and online.
Together through the years, together in the future. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Okie dokie, folks. Welcome back to Horticulturalist Felder Rushing and Java. One regret I have about the live stream is they can't hear the cheesy music I got coming up. And this cheesy music, you haven't previewed it. You don't know what it is yet, do you?
No, you gave it to me, and I told you I was just going to hold it. Let it surprise me like everyone else.
And folks who are listening on their listening live, of course, you'll hear it. But those of you who aren't, we'll explain what it is after the program. But meanwhile, we're here to talk to folks about gardening. Let's go down to Daphne, Alabama. Ann, how are you this morning?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Good, pretty good. You got bugs in your garden or trying to keep them out?
I've got so many problems in my garden.
Me too.
I'm from the north, and I used to grow tomatoes and all kinds of wonderful things. And I came down here, and I'm a total failure. And it's easier to go to Costco and buy all those vegetables, but I was talked into doing another garden.
Yeah.
So last year I tried putting a net over my garden so things wouldn't. I mean, they eat anything and everything.
Oh yeah.
I'm not even sure what does it.
Yeah.
What part of the north
did you move down from?
Pennsylvania.
Okay, you didn't know about stink bugs the size of your thumb in Pennsylvania, did you?
I didn't know about a lot of things, but I love it down here. I'll never go back, but I do love it. But my poor garden, I gave up on tomatoes the first year, and that was a disaster.
Well, here's a couple of things. First of all, Ann, we do have some extra problems, and I spent a lot of time overseas and visiting gardens all over the country. And for some reason, this is the only part of the world where people don't normally use insect netting. It's normal in a lot of places. And
okay.
And they have different kinds. They have some that's real fine mesh that'll keep out aphids and things. But they also have some that's big enough to keep out the worst of them, the big stink bugs, the birds, the squirrels and stuff. So different kinds of netting.
Oh, that's great.
I think it's a good idea to use it. And there's different ways to do it. One is you could put sticks or bamboo or whatever around the edge and put like a little bottle or an upside down little nursery pot or anything to keep it from tearing the netting, and just sort of make a tent all the way around your garden. The real drawback to that, though, is if you're growing squash has to be pollinated by bees.
Oh, that's what I was wondering, if pollination needs to happen. I'm not real bright on gardening.
The most important thing, the tomatoes and peppers, they get pollinated. The wind will take care of that. So the only real issue is if you're growing things like squash, and all you have to do is lift up the net, and if you know about hand pollinating is interesting. It's kind of easy, but you can hand pollinate squash every, whenever you get in the mornings, whether it's every day or twice a week or whatever you want to, and put the net back down. That'll work. But I think insect netting is just about a must for really good garden. A small scale garden, big scale garden, not much you can do about it.
Well, I love your show, and I've got so many problems. I've got one other issue, but if you have time, I've got a whole line of boxwoods that just absolutely went dead in 2 years. They just went, and I keep them there because it's still a hedge.
Yeah.
Did I do something wrong, or is it too cold? It was cold and snowed. We got about 7 inches. Did something happen? And I back up in a sod field, and he sprays. So maybe the spray.
It'd be hard to see. You can't diagnose stuff properly, without really making the patient sit down and open his mouth and say But the boxwoods do have a couple of problems, and it won't be the cold. Boxwoods grow in Pennsylvania. They'll take the cold.
Right.
They have a hard time a lot of plants that are normally cold hardy have a hard time taking a sudden hard freeze. Y'all had snow. You had snow.
We had 7 inches. I'm very proud.
Yeah. How about would it last a day and a half and it was gone? But anyway,
but I did have to shovel.
Boxwoods are particularly, even though they've been around a long time, their roots they're sturdier than azaleas. But if it stays really wet, followed by really dry, followed by wet, dry, back and forth, this causes the roots to be weak and damaged. And if it affects a whole plant, so I would suspect if your neighbors didn't accidentally spray it, that they were weak from just bad weather. And then there's a disease. Okay. It's a terrible. It's called boxwood blight. And it's been showing up across the South, and but usually it just takes out a plant or two at a time at first, just here and there parts of the plants will die.
That's what it did. Yeah.
Yeah, but boxwood blight is pretty common. It's a real serious concern in historic gardens, which have traditional boxwood hedges, and there are some varieties they've developed that are resistant to it. But that doesn't help folks like us who already have them. So, unfortunately, it doesn't matter what the problem is. Your choice is prune them, see if they put out new growth, or replace them. And if you want to replace them,
replace everything.
Yeah, I would go with a plant that's called dwarf Yaupon holly, spelled Y-A-U-P-O-N. Yaupon holly is a native one. The dwarf Yaupon hollies, they're not that real pretty, rich green of boxwoods, but they're easy to prune into whatever shapes you want. They get as big as you want, or you can keep them to a foot tall if you want, but they're really, really durable plants. They're kind of a gray-green, not as pretty, but Yaupon holly is a really good alternate to boxwoods.
Okay, good. And then one last real quick question. I love the dandelion song you played a long time ago. I think it was the end of March.
Yeah, don't eat the dandelions.
I've tried everything. No, I've tried everything trying to find it, and I can't find it on Spotify. I can't find it anywhere. I don't know how to get a hold of it.
I forget. I found it on Amazon. Just go on Amazon and scroll down to the digital music and just type in "Don't Eat the Dandelions."
Yeah, it's really, really cute.
It was actually sent to me.
Yeah.
It was sent to me by a listener who, oddly, believe it or not, lives in Utah, named Hillary Sugar.
Okay.
Hillary sent me that years ago. It's just a real good one.
I love it. Anyway, I won't take up any more time. Thank you so much for your help.
Wait till you hear the cheesy tune today. Appreciate it, Ann. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, Java, I did bring this plant with me today, a piece of it actually. It's not the whole plant, and it's a type of perennial that grows. It would have grown in for Ann up in Pennsylvania. It grows from Florida up into Canada, and it's called sedum. Sedum. Sedeum. Sedum. Matter of fact, I've got a picture of it, picture number 7, that shows it in bloom. But it's a succulent. It is so hardy. It's got leaves that are shaped like a big spoon with little notches around the edge. But this plant grows. It is so hardy to grow. My friend Stevie Rosenthal from Indianola, the recent mayor, his mother had some of this in a concrete urn on their front porch when I was a kid. I saw it last year. It's been out there for 60 years or more that I know of. Never been watered, never been sprayed, nothing. It comes back up every year, tough as nails, and it has these real pretty kind of pinkish flowers. Anyway, when we come back, I'm going to show why it's also called frog belly.
Now, frog belly is that was one of the questions I had about today's show, because you always send a collection of pictures, and I was just like, frog belly. Yeah. That's a lot. That's a name.
It comes this plant called sedum. Some people, there's all sorts of names for it. Autumn joy is one of the common ones. Anyway, we'll do that when we come back. But we've got the lines open right now, and I know people got stuff on their mind.
Yeah, and before we go, we're going to go ahead and get to our cheesy tune, but I do want to say thank you to Atmos Energy.
Before you go there, I got an email yesterday from somebody on Mississippi Gardening who was digging in their yard, and they found a pipe in their yard.
Really?
They said, what should you do? What is it? Anybody know what kind of pipe it is? I said, I don't know. Call 811.
And they can tell you what kind of pipe it is.
I learned that here on MPB.
You did the right thing, Felder. Thank you to Atmos for supporting the Gestalt Gardener. Dial 811 before you dig, because I don't know what kind of pipe that person stumbled upon, but it could have been one of the ones that send the fire truck to your house.
That's right.
And we don't want that. So dial 811. And again, thank you to Atmos Energy for supporting today's program.
Okay, folks who are watching on the live stream, shoot us some notes. Java's checking all that, and if you want to give us a call.
Yeah, I got a few we can get to when we come back.
Okay, but anybody, if you're near a phone, you got a question about your garden, you got something weird going on, or want to know about stickers or anything like that, give us a call. I'll be easy. Toll free 1-877 MPB ring. But anyway, you've heard of Sisyphus. The king had a roller rock up the mountain and it rolled back down. Roll the rock up the mountain and back down, up the mountain and back down. Endless, ceaseless, eternal toil. That's the myth of Sisyphus, and that's what this tune is today. How'd I set that one up, Java?
I left it on preview. We're going to see what's happening when I push play.
Okay, folks. We'll be back with more of the Gestalt Gardener here on Mississippi Public Broadcasting right after this.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
At the Mississippi Arts and Entertainment Experience in Meridian, we believe in the power of the arts, storytelling, and education, just like Mississippi Public Broadcasting. MPB connects communities across the state with quality programs that inform, inspire, and engage. Their audience is loyal and appreciative of businesses that support public broadcasting, which makes underwriting on MPB a smart investment. Join us in supporting MPB. Learn more at mpbfoundation.org.
Hey, it's me, Gus the Gopher for Atmos Energy. I dig all around the yard. Occasionally, I bump into a utility line and get a headache. But if you hit one with your shovel, backhoe, or ditch digger, you could cause a gas leak, disrupt service, or worse. So call 811 at least 3 business days before you or someone else digs in your yard to have those underground utility-owned lines marked. It's free and it's the law. You dig what I'm saying? For more on safe digging, visit atmosenergy.com/811.
The Measuring Show.
Since 1970, MPB has been enriching the lives of Mississippians.
Everything we do gives us the chance to grow and learn.
With your support, we are always there whenever and wherever you need us. Together through the years, together in the future. Please consider making a donation at mpbfoundation.org. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Okie dokie, Java. What'd you think? That was the Itsy Bitsy Spider, which is, we all know that. That's one of those earworms. Itsy Bitty Spider went up the water spout.
Water spout, yeah.
And then rain came and washed it, and it came up and down. See, that's Sisyphus. Endless, ceaseless, up and down, in eternal toil.
Yeah, but that was I liked it because it was a new twist,
kind of hip
on an
hop,
old
kind
song.
of Family Stone. I don't know.
No, I would say Boys to Men.
Okay.
The R&B group Boys to Men, because they did kind of quartet, little, but it was new school flavor. So it wasn't quite a cappella, but you could hear those elements in there because the guy was doing the bass, but they still had a beat. So it was cool. It was good. See, sometimes, Felder, you find things.
It was
man.
cheesy, the Itsy Bitsy Spider. Let's see if people can get that earworm out there. and you've got some things from the live stream, but let's go to the phone because Don has called from Jackson. Don, what's going on this morning? Thanks for calling.
Well, thank you, Felder. I look forward to your show every Friday morning. I love listening to y'all. It's a great way to start the weekend.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for your program. I've got a small backyard. Pardon me. I've got a beautiful, large live oak tree that acts as an umbrella over the backyard and over my house. And on my patio, pardon me, I've got, I guess you call them pavers or flat stone pavers that are put together like a jigsaw puzzle.
Right.
And I really enjoy my patio and my outdoor time, but I would like to get moss to grow between these pavers.
Yeah, you got shade.
I got dappled sunlight at best.
Yeah. Here's the deal. Do you have anything between the pavers, like concrete or sand or anything like that?
No, there's just some dirt.
Okay.
There had been, we have had in the past dwarf, what do you call it? It's like monkey grass. I don't know.
Mondo grass. Mondo grass.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. Moss, to grow moss, it needs shade. It does best in the shade. It needs moisture, and it really does best in a slightly acidic soil. And the pavers are alkaline. I've got flagstone in my backyard, and moss are growing on it. But basically, what you do is you find some moss. Just go out someplace and find you some moss, and dig a little bit of it, and chop it up little pieces, and make it a little slurry, and just spread it around. It'll start, if you can get some algae gets started. Algae sort of makes an interface. It's sort of like getting stuff ready for the moss. But usually there's plenty of algae where there's moss. So if you just get moss and chop it up little piece and make a slurry, some people have suggested mixing it with buttermilk. And that can actually, that actually works a little bit. It'll smell kind of bad for a while, but if you just take the stuff and chop it up and spread it out and just mash it in and wet it down a few times, usually that's all it takes.
Okay, one other question is ground cover back there. I've struggled with it over the years. Grass just will not grow.
Yeah.
And I now have a very active dog who runs around and chases squirrels.
Yeah.
So he's on the ground, and I'm thinking about putting down rocks. I don't know what else to do.
Well, rather Yeah, rather than rocks, what I use in my garden is called chipped slate. It's like best thing. It's like thick cornflake. Not cornflakes. Like potato chips. It's flat little pieces, and it doesn't take very much because what the slate does is it layers itself and it doesn't mash down into the dirt like gravel would. But if you'll throw some crushed slate out there, it doesn't have to be solid. Just a little bit out there, then it'll provide support for the dog's feet, and you'll probably end up getting some moss growing in between it. But I think crushed slate, sometimes chipped slate. You can also get chipped limestone that does about the same thing, but you can get it by the bag, or even you can even go in the Jackson area. You can go out to some of the stone yards and get it in bulk if you want to. Fill the back of your truck up with it.
Sure. Okay. All right. Well, you've answered my questions. Once again, thank you for your show.
Okay, Don.
It's very enjoyable.
Appreciate it, man.
Take
All right, appreciate it. Let's go now to Kathy. Kathy's calling from the road. I'm going too quick. Kathy, how are you today?
I am doing well. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. What's up?
Awesome. So I garden on a sandy hillside. A southwest-facing sandy hillside in North Carolina.
Oh, boy.
And what I had never heard of before I started gardening was voles.
Yeah.
And I am fighting a huge battle with voles.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if you have any ideas. I have like an acre, and it looks like I'm going to have every one of my plants in a pot eventually, so the voles don't eat the roots. Which is like, why bother owning property if you can't plant anything in it?
Yeah, I know voles can be real frustrating because we don't have a good control for it. If we did have a good control, trust me, I work with botanic gardens and horticulturists around the country, and if there was a good control, we would know about it. And unfortunately, there's not. You go online and find some suggestions of plants that they don't like daffodils, but that's not going to help you throughout the whole year. You could trap them with mouse traps baited with peanut butter, but you have to put them up under pots because the voles come up. They're not going to come up on top of the ground, in the open because a hawk will get them. But other than trapping them, there are some poisons you put out there, but I don't know how effective they are. This is a really, really sticky. This is one of those very frustrating things for folks like me because we don't have a good answer. But
I grow a lot of hostas.
Oh yeah. Hostas Society in Memphis. A Hostas Society grows theirs in pots, big pots sunk in the ground because of voles.
I have been using quarter-inch hardware cloth to make a little basket to put around the.
Yeah. Half inch would be. To me, half inch would be better. Half inch is less expensive. It's just as effective. Voles can't get through a little, but the half inch is easier to work with. And that's what they do in a lot of botanic gardens. Is they dig the dirt out of their flower beds. They put a tarp out there, put the dirt on it, line it with this half inch hardware cloth, put the dirt back in, and voles can't. It's like an underground fence, but that works. And it's a pain, but that's what we do. Sorry.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, Kathy. Hey, if you get a chance, go shoot me an email, and I'll do a little head scratching and see if I can find somebody. I have quite a few friends in North Carolina who do what I do, and I try to put them in touch with you. So shoot me an email if you will.
I will. Thank you.
Okay, Kathy. Hands on the wheels. Appreciate your call.
Hold on, Felder. Before we go to our next couple calls, I did want to jump in chat for YouTube.
Yeah.
And I got a question, and it's one of those maybe myth things that you talk about.
Oh, yeah, there's a bunch of them.
The spring, we got, this is Diana, dog lover.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining the live stream. But it says, does spraying soapy water really get rid of stink bugs? For 3 years, I've had a problem with them eating my vegetable plants.
Yeah, I wish it did. I wish it did. The way most people use soapy water is they carry a bucket of it around, and when they find the stink bugs, they have a pair of gloves, they just grab it and throw it in the soapy water. And that'll do it. But as far as spraying soapy water, a lot of people use dish detergent, soapy water, because I don't want to use chemicals. Well, read the ingredients in soap, in the dish detergent. It is a seething chemical concoction.
Yeah.
But no, it really doesn't help. If you spray them heavy enough where it coats their bodies and it clogs up their little breathing tube, they get a little hole. Insects breathe through little holes on their sides called spiracles. If you can clog those spiracles up, that might work. But that's a lot of dish detergent. But no, there's really not a good. You're gonna have to step around. There is a natural insecticide called pyrethrin. It's made from chrysanthemum, even the synthetic pyrethrin, and it does a fair job on big stink bugs. But pyrethrin is about the only thing I know that's safe, that's natural, that will control stink bugs.
And then I got one other one. It's kind of interesting. This is from Jacqueline, and it says, "Good morning, help." ! I'm trying to find somebody who will remove honeybees from the side of a building.
Ooh. If they're on the building, they can capture them. If they're in a building, they can't. They can't capture the queen. They can't capture the colony. So if it's on the outside, don't know where she lives, but call the county extension office. They're open today. Call them and see if they know any local beekeepers who will do that. Beekeepers a lot of times will do that. And,
now she's in. She did drop in the chat because we have some people trying to help her out. She's in Jackson.
Okay.
But
we have beekeepers. Call the Museum of Natural Science.
Okay.
That's where the Mississippi Beekeepers Association, they meet there, and they'll know some local beekeepers. Either the county extension office or the Natural Science Museum. They know the beekeepers.
Now you probably can help me with this too. Is this the same process for wasps?
No. Wasps are like a little aircraft carrier. If you can't capture them or relocate them, you just can't. And for the most part, wasps, believe it or not, wasps are one of the most beneficial insects out there.
Don't say that, Felder.
I'm saying,
Don't
man,
say that, man.
I don't like them. I squeal like a 6-year-old girl. I mean, my granddaughter can't squeal like I can when a wasp gets on me. But they're extremely beneficial. If you can live with them, live with them. But if they're by the screen door, it's got to go.
Yeah.
And there's not much you can do. You can take a broom to it at night when they can't see you as well, or else you just got to squirt them. I hate to say that, but there's no way to relocate wasps. They're mean.
Yeah.
It's like moving, the Kitty Hawk aircraft carrier. Ain't budging. So anyway, sorry about that.
Fellow, let's take our next break. We do got Scott in Hattiesburg and Kevin from Charleston, South Carolina on the phone. We do want to get to them after the break, but we need to take this break.
Okay, while we're doing that, I want them to get a close-up of this leaf. I talked about the sedum I had earlier, sedum plant. Well, you take a sedum leaf and break it off, and you pinch it. You don't break it. You pinch it till it bruises, and you keep pinching to where the inside, the top of the bottom, kind of slide a little bit. Let's see how close we can get to that. You got to pinch it and bruise it, make it where you can slide the top and the bottom, right? This is why it's called frog belly, because if you do that and you open up the end of it, watch this. This is so stupid. I'm going to have to do it after the break because it doesn't want to work right now. My frog belly ain't working. We'll be back with more after my frog belly ain't working job.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Desiree Frazier, host of the award-winning news program, Mississippi Edition. We bring you conversations about the latest news from across the Magnolia State. Whether it's politics, healthcare, or education, you'll hear in-depth discussions on issues that matter to you. So join us each weekday morning at 8:30 on MPB Think Radio, or download the podcast, listen through the app, and online.
Together through the years. Together in the future. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Here's a short poem from 1914, 110 years ago. Ready for this?
I'm ready.
This guy named Howard Johnson wrote this in 1914. M is for the many things she gave me. O means only that she's growing old. T is for the tears she shed to save me. H is for heart of purest gold. E is for her eyes, the love light shining. R means right, and right she'll always be. Put them all together, they spell mother, a world that means the world to me. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Okay, now I finally did the frog belly. Before we take these calls, watch this. You ready for this? Oh, phooey.
I see it.
It blows up like a balloon. Frog belly. If you don't know what I'm talking about, folks, check out the YouTube, the Gestalt Gardener on YouTube. You can see frog belly at the 9:52 minute. Anyway, let's go to the phone calls real quick. Scott from Hattiesburg. Scott, thanks for holding. What's up?
What's going on, guys?
Not much, man. What can you help you with?
Cherry tomato plants. Are you a proponent of planting them when they say bury 2/3 of them? Do you plant them straight down? You lay them over on their side, or do you plant them just container depth?
That's a good question. Good question. Tomatoes are one of the few vegetables that will root up and down the stem. If it's hot and dry, you could plant them straight up and down. If it's wet, you plant them straight up and down. The bottom stuff's going to rot. So if it's really wet, lay them sideways because the deep roots will rot. If you got good drainage, go ahead and put them up and down. Or how about this? Put them at a 45-degree angle, somewhere in between the two.
Okay. I got one I have planted straight up and down at that depth, so it might be a little damp for it. I'll watch it, and I've got one I haven't planted yet, and I'll do it with the 45-degree and compare the two, see how they turn out. I just wanted your best take on the second one, so I kind of hedged my bet.
The main thing, if you keep it wet all the time, down deep, they're going to rot. So if you let it dry a little bit between soakings, it really doesn't matter. Good question, though.
It's in well-drained stuff. I don't think it's going to be too bad, but if it does, I'll know why.
Yeah, there you go.
Cypius. How do you spell that, by the way?
You talking about the yellow blooming shrub?
No, I'm talking about that cheesy music that had me get my groove on before my back medicine kicked in. I'm going to send you my chiropractor bill.
Oh, yeah. I got you. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for calling, Scott.
Glad to be of service, Scott.
Let's go to South Carolina, Charleston. Kevin, what's going on down in the lowland, low country?
Hey, how you doing this morning, sir?
Good. What's up?
Hey, we're doing pretty good down here. So I got a couple of real fast questions for you, and we're running out of time. Last year, I planted bell peppers. First time planting anything down in this area of the country. And about the time they get to the point where they looked ready to pick, by that time the bottoms would have started to rot.
Yeah.
Any idea what's going on there, and how do I prevent it?
Yeah, peppers get blossoming and rot just like tomatoes. And it's a lack of calcium in your soil. Or even if you have calcium in your soil, if the plants stay wet or they stay dry, they can't pick up that big calcium molecule. So add a little lime to your garden, maybe a tablespoon or so mixing around each plant, and to make sure you don't keep them too wet or let them stay too dry. You can also get a liquid calcium supplement. It's not a poison. It's a liquid calcium fertilizer. It's called Stop Rod, and spray it directly on the plants.
Perfect. And last question. Planted some yellow squash for the first time, but we only planted one plant.
Yeah.
Got a fairly small backyard. Do I need two to pollinate? They're starting to blossom.
Nope.
Do I need two to pollinate, or is one just fine?
Nope. They have separate male and female flowers. The male flowers on a little stem, female flowers on a little squash. You got to have both at the same time and get pollen from one to the other. So learn about if you don't have bees, learn about hand pollinating. Sounds kinky, but it works.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. All right, I appreciate you, sir.
Appreciate it, Kevin. Okay, now let's go to Diane. She's in Pass Christian. Diane, how are you today? Thank you for holding.
I'm real good. I wanted to have a plug here for wasps. I love wasps, and they're extremely beneficial as pollinators. I've videotaped them attacking predators on my potato plants.
Oh, I'm in favor of wasps unless they're by the screen door.
Right, and that is how you can get rid of them is with smoke. If you light something that's real smoky, they will leave the nest, they will get out of the area, and you take that nest down then.
There you go.
And you don't have to use poisons or chemicals to kill them.
There you go. We're out of time. That's a really good tip today. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
So what I heard from Diane is if I want to take down the wasp nest, just barbecue.
Yeah, barbecue. Blow some smoke in their face. Let's see if we can get Mandeville. Peg's calling from Mandeville. Peg, we're almost out of time, but what can we help you with?
Oh, hey, Felder, I know you're out of time, but I have some very lush and vigorous oak leaf hydrangeas, and they've grown kind of tall. I just don't know, once they finish blooming,
cut them back.
Can I cut them back?
Cut them back.
But how far?
As far as you want. You can cut them to 2 feet tall. They put out new growth. Cut them at different heights. Leave some tall, some medium, cut some low. But just cut them back like you would any kind of bush. They'll do fine.
Okay, because they've really done.
I know. Oak leaf hydrangeas are probably oak leaf hydrangeas and magnolias are the flowers of May right now. They're so beautiful. Anyway, we got to scoot. Thank you, Peg. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Okay. Bye-bye.
Java, I didn't get to talk about my 2 kinds of lantana I brought. The bush kind of lantana, which blooms all summer, great pollinator plant, and a spreading old-fashioned that's called trailing lantana with the little lavender flowers. Lantana is probably the best pollinator perennial you can put out in your garden.
Now, that's all right there.
Yeah, and it's easy. You put them out there. Chris put some it's Mother's Day. Get your plant for Crystal. I'm just saying.
She got enough plants.
No. Yeah, when everything else is gone, lantana will still be there, covered with butterflies.
All right, there you go.
Anyway, I'm gonna be at the Hitching Lot Farmers Market at the corner of 2nd Avenue and 2nd Street, downtown Columbus, from 8 o'clock till after 10 o'clock tomorrow. It may rain, but we're undercover. Bring you a lawn chair. Ain't got anything else to do if it's raining, and let's chat about gardening. I'm a horticulturalist, Felder Rushing. Me and Java Chapman and all the folks here at MPB, we appreciate you tuning in. If you get a chance, go to YouTube and in the search box, type in Gestalt Gardener MPB and see what frog belly is all about. If y'all get a chance, take a kid to a farmer's market or a garden center, get them a pot full of stuff to grow and show them how to do what we do best, and that's get dirty. See y'all next week.